received. Base camp captured.
What?
Quest completed. You have received a quest. Warning, storm closing.
I'm in a bad way.
Quest successful.
Flashy. We're getting somewhere.
Was it set to grow even bigger? By the time of his death, Haddock had further grown his horde across the Bering and into Alaska, bringing himself into contact with the Hoya-Heya. Red
Quest
men
received.
that were, like the Asian, left to their own devices after being made obsolete by the Neanderthals. This common struggle resulted in a natural alliance between the two, allowing the Horde to focus its ire upon the Dravidians to the south. Here we can see a better map projection for the time, circa 11,001 BC. So let me catch you up on what's happening. By this point, the Yakubian Regency is not taking the loss of the Prophet very well. Rest in power, big man. And is slowly starting to lose territory along the eastern and northern fringes. You may wonder why. Well, it's because us treasonous talcaloids tend to revert to a more animalistic state when without true black guidance. Even more so than the other races due to the fungal implant overriding even the residual civility in our psyche. Though of course, this is barring the Neanderthals of Thule.
Your base camp
I
is
will
under
not talk
attack.
about the Neanderthals of Thule. You're not ready for that conversation. But hold on, wait a minute, hold up a second. Where the fuck did
Enemy in
Yakub,
base
peace
camp
be
vision.
upon him, go? Well, you see, we're not entirely sure as to how, but at some point in the closing days of the Gottkrieg, he managed to contract fucking tetanus. This, paired with a few thousand years of campaigning taking a toll on his body, meant that he slipped into a coma and had to be interned in an upside-down suspended straitjacket due to the spasms and his seizures. So, with Yakub, peace be upon him, snoozing, who the fuck was the regent of Yakubia?
We're losing
Well,
the signal. No
it
more
was
free
Yakub.
respawns.
Peace be upon him. Because you see,
Base camp
despite being
captured.
comatose, Yakub
tightening.
was still psionically conscious, and as such was able to reach out to his most psionically gifted whites. And from there, he had them gathered into an order and had them fulfill his
Your
command.
oracle is
This
online.
committee became known as the Praetorians, with 13 core adjutants and 52 total executives, with these 65 whites basically running the entire continent of Europe through a telepathic text-to-speech donor. Well, back on topic, what about the Reds? Well, We honestly don't know too much about the Hoya people due to them being so decentralized that they seemingly never managed to record anything about their founding, their societal structure, or even their language. All we do know is that the High Yakubians used North America as a munitions dump for all of the red races after Kemet fell, and thus they outlived their usefulness. And from there, they just seemingly lived as idyllic anarcho-primitivists, milling around on the new world, just kind of
That one's finished.
existing in an unchanged snapshot of the Old Testament garden, killing each other and talking to trees until around the time of Columbus. But what of the Dravidians? Well, that's just modern India, really. Like, exactly the same, but much bigger, much more decentralized, not due to policy but incompetence, and with a lot more Filipinos. Something time is a flat circle. But they will come up again later because they are quite important to the plot, so for now, just picture the average Google Street View image of Hyderabad with rudimentary fusion technology salvaged from the looting of the Mecca metropole. And then we look at what's left of Kemet. This map is as accurate as we can reasonably get due to the entire continent being essentially glassed and rewilded, with Alexandria's destruction and sacking during the Yaku-Kemetic Gokrieg pushing us back as a planet trillions of years technologically and societally, leaving the orphan generations of pineally calcified Kemeti to squabble and feud within the ruins of the Red Sea metropolitan sprawl, stretching across both sides of the sea and once home to hundreds of millions. In time, it was slowly swept away by constant sandstorms over the course of centuries. Kinda like Spec Ops The Line, but bigger and with a lot more black people and with a lot more white phosphorus. Within these ruins of the Kemeti Holy Lands, there existed a myriad patchwork of pretender states, warlords and rogue units, all claiming to be the legitimate heir and successor of Muhammad. They did not know that Muhammad is actually still alive and is currently inside the Ngwenya mines in Swaziland, awaiting the right time to return and reclaim the planet from the perfidious offspring of Yaku.
Allies fighting.
But of course, that's a secret. Please don't tell anyone.
Enemies have
As far as the world was and is concerned, Muhammad killed himself by self-induced psionic aneurysm after the loss of Alexandria. And as such, someone had to step up and replace him as sovereign of Kemet. And yes, Hadak al-Ura was technically one of them. He was just one of the more daring and unorthodox of these warlords. But